Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Board of Health meeting of December 21st, 2020. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Chatham Board of Health is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. Reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling this phone number, 1-508-945-4410, and the call-in ID is 537-207-884#. Despite our best efforts, if we are not able to provide for real-time access, we will post a record of the meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. So I'm going to turn the meeting over to Chairman John Beckley.
Thank you, Judy. Welcome, everyone. Today, we have 3 hearing items to consider, and then we have our regular update on COVID-19 with Dr. Duncanson. So let's start with item number 1, which is a variance hearing and approval.
Excuse me, John, you have to take attendance first.
Oh, thank you. I even wrote that down. Yes, let me start by establishing that we do have a quorum of Board of Health members to proceed with the meeting tonight. So when I call your name, please indicate that you are on the call. Dr. Noble Hansen?
Present.
Ron Broman?
Here.
Ed Sheehan?
Here.
And John Beckley, myself, I'm here. Is Dr. Alan Ward on the call by chance? Okay, so we have 4 out of the 5 Board of Health members on the call, so we have our quorum established. Let's get back to item number 1 on the hearing agenda, which is a variance hearing and approval of IA Technology for 20 Jericho Lane. And we have Clark Engineering representing the applicant. David Clark, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead and introduce your application, David.
Yeah, so this is a house that the new owners are in the process of permitting to demolish and reconstruct. The existing house has 3 bedrooms on the first floor, and then there are actually 2 bedrooms down in the basement. But there are no stairs to get from the first floor down to the basement. You actually have to go outside the house and down into that space. But what the new owners want to do is build a 4-bedroom house. So we show a new system with IA technology for the 4th bedroom, assuming that the 2 bedrooms in the basement were probably not authorized by any town department. We're in the process of filing with conservation. That meeting will be on January 13th, and the project does not need zoning board of appeals relief. So we showed the new floor plans, and as always in these situations, the introduction of IA technology reduces the amount of nitrogen going into the ground versus a system that does not have treatment. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Okay, Board of Health members, anybody have questions or comments for Mr. Clark on this application? I see the septic system, the proposed septic system is up high, close to the road, as far as it can be from the back part of the property, which slopes down. Looks pretty straightforward to me.
This is Noble.
Go ahead.
This is Noble. So the current house is approved 3-bedroom house. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. That the Board of Health records show only 3 bedrooms, and then it appears that 2 bedrooms were constructed in the basement. It's a walkout basement for the most part, but there are no stairs to get from the first floor down to the basement level.
Right. So they're requesting to add 1 more bedroom with the IA technology.
Correct.
Thanks.
How old is this house, David?
It's been in the same family for almost 60 years. So it's the original owners that just sold it this past summer. So it was 60 years of accrued changes.
It certainly looks like it's had better days. But the lot is spectacular. Well, the Board of Health members do have a memorandum from Judy, the health agent, recommending we consider it for approval with several proposed conditions that are enumerated in her memo of December 16th. And there are 9 that I see here. Any further questions or comments from Board of Health members?
The house there is going to be torn down. Did I hear somebody say that?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. I thought I heard that.
If there's no further design questions, can I get a motion to approve the application with the referenced conditions, 9 of which there are, that Judy would read before we would vote?
This is Noble. I move that we approve the variance request with Judy reading the conditions for us.
Can I get a second for that?
Second, Ron Bowman.
Okay, Ron has a second. Further discussion or questions? Comments? Anybody from the public wish to comment on this motion? All right, I'll call the question. When I call your name, please indicate how you vote on the motion as, wait a minute, Judy, you have to read
Yeah, let me read the
conditions first.
conditions. The applicant should restrict the property to a maximum of 4 bedrooms and record the restriction on the deed at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. The applicants shall submit a copy of the executed deed restriction and release of deed restriction to the board. Throughout its life, the system shall be under an operation and maintenance agreement. An O&M agreement shall be for at least 1 year and may be with any mass certified operator of the appropriate grade that has received training by the company on the operation of the system. Effluent from the system shall be monitored at least twice per year for the first 2 years, preferably May and October. The effluent shall be field tested in accordance with Mass DEP standard conditions for secondary treatment units certified for general use, revised March 20th, 2015. In addition, a laboratory test of the effluent for total nitrogen to meet the performance standards of 19 milligrams per liter shall be collected and analyzed by a certified lab. Water meter readings are to be provided with the semi-annual report. If any of the field tests or lab tests fail, follow-up tests shall be conducted in a certified lab and an evaluation made by the operator within 30 days. After the required 2 years testing, application can be made to the board or their agent for review and possible modifications of the monitoring requirement. The applicant shall sign a covenant with the board agreeing to comply at such time as the town of Chatham, through its Board of Health and Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners, directs the connection of this property to the municipal sewer when it becomes available. This covenant shall be recorded at the Barnstable County Register of Deeds. The applicant agrees to apply a minimum of 6 inches of compacted topsoil to all landscaped areas and abide by any requirements of the Conservation Commission for mitigation and planting as required. The engineer shall submit an engineered as-built plan, including as-built elevations, with written certification that the system has been installed in accordance with the plan, the approved plan. No alteration to the floor plan of the dwelling or the engineered site plan without further review by the Board of Health or its agent is allowed. This variance is granted pursuant to the State Environmental Code Title V and the Town of Chatham subsurface sewage regulations is valid for 1 year from the date of the Board of Health approval. A permit must be issued and work commenced during that 1 year period, or the variance shall expire.
Okay, let's call the question. When I call your name, please indicate how you vote on the motion. Dr. Noble Hanson,
Approve.
Ron Broman,
Approve.
Ed Sheehan,
Approve.
and I approve, John Beckley. So the motion is approved and the variance is granted.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, David.
All right, let's move on. Variance number 2 is a request for additional bedroom without an IA technology for John Sequin at 407 Meeting House Road, also known as Route 137. And representing this application is Stephanie Sequin. Any
Hi.
relation? Any relation, Stephanie?
Yeah, John is my brother-in-law.
Okay.
If there's a sequin in Chatham, we're related. You can be
Okay.
sure of that.
Fair enough.
So for the record, Stephanie Sequin with Ryder and Wilcox, and I'm representing John Sequin, who is the owner of the vacant lot at 407 Meeting House Road. It's on Route 137, not too far from the intersection with Morton Road. It's a 21,875 square foot lot. It is located within the Zone 2 and therefore is subject to not only the Chatham nitrogen loading limitations of 1 bedroom per 10,000 square feet, but also the nitrogen loading limitations of Title V. We spoke with Dr. Duncanson, and this property is scheduled to be able to connect to the future sewer system within approximately 2 to 3 years. Construction is sort of in the works. So we are therefore requesting approval on this almost 22,000 square foot lot. We would be allowed to have a 2-bedroom home with a standard Title V system. Once town sewer becomes available, we would be able to add 1 bedroom. So we are just requesting approval to construct the 3-bedroom home now with a standard Title V system, sized for and having capacity for 3 bedrooms, with the condition that once the town sewer becomes available, the house would be connected in a very short time frame, and then the Title V system would be abandoned. We have done soil testing here. The soil conditions are great. We didn't hit any groundwater, so there are no groundwater issues. There are no wetlands in the vicinity of this property. So it's really just the lot size and the request to allow that 3rd bedroom to be constructed now with the standard Title V system. I think that's it. I included a set of the building plans that show a pretty standard 1 master bedroom on the 1st floor, open living, kitchen, dining area, and then just 2 bedrooms on the 2nd floor, an attached garage. Nothing any complicated. There's no den or study or anything else that might be construed as a 4th bedroom. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Stephanie, this is John Beckley. Stephanie, is this the lot that's been, they've started construction already?
Yes.
Okay. Pretty straightforward.
Is this going to be occupied all year round or just summer rental, summer use?
It is to be determined. It's a spec house.
Okay, they're not sure. Okay.
This is John again. Dr. Duncanson, can you comment on the sewering of this roadway? In fact, how soon is it certain that it will come to pass, and your estimate on the time frame?
Yes, thank you, John. Yeah, this section of roadway is in part of what we call phase 1D2. We're currently working on phase 1D1, which is the upper portion of Meeting House Road and Old Queen Anne, and a pump station for the Harwich, East Harwich interconnection. And then the remainder of Route 137 down to Route 28, as well as Morton Road, is in what's known as phase 1D2. We are currently finalizing the design on that right now. We anticipate it will probably go out to bid next spring for a fall construction start. Funding's already been secured. We already have approval from the DEP SRF program, so funding's not an issue. It's just, sometimes we have to site pump stations and they tend to take a little bit longer, sometimes to get them fully squared away. So, if we get a fall 2021 start, probably a 2-year construction timeline, and then, a year to connect. So you're probably talking 3 years out, 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Bob. Any other questions? I guess we have we have a precedent for doing these sorts of things in other cases where the board had a high degree of confidence that a sanitary line would be coming through a particular location. How much time do you think, Stephanie, it would take to actually design and build the house?
Well, as one of the members pointed out, it's already under construction. They've already started digging. So I would guess within a year's time, the house would be done and ready for occupancy.
Okay. Thank you. Board member
Judy, how does
questions,
that,
comments?
yeah,
Go
Ron
ahead.
Broman. Yeah, how does this fit in with some of the other ones we've allowed for time?
I think it's pretty consistent, Ron. I remember 2 or 3 years. Judy, do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's all the ones we've approved have been ones that, as Bob said, are in the design phase or even further along, but this is very consistent with what we've done in the past.
Okay, thank you.
This is Noble, Judy or Bob. It's my understanding that if you put in an IA technology, that they can then they have 10 years before they hook up to the sewer system. Is that correct?
Yes, they were our regulations. If you have an IA, you get to use it for a total of 10 years.
Right.
So
that's a consideration. Yeah, I think Crow Road was one where the time frame was probably a bit longer than this, actually.
Right.
yeah,
And they are proposing to build a standard 3-bedroom new system.
correct.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with John that it seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments from Board of Health members? We do have 4 conditions that were recommended to us by Judy in a memo of December 16th. Can I get a motion to approve with a reference to the conditions, and then we can have Judy read those?
This is Noble. I make a I move that we approve the variance for the 407 Meeting House Road proposal, and Judy would read the conditions, please.
Yes, condition 1, a conventional septic system is designed for 3 bedrooms and installed in accordance with Title V. The system shall be designed to facilitate easy connections to the municipal sewer when it becomes available. Number 2, the applicant should restrict this property to a maximum of 3 bedrooms and record this restriction on the deed at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Number 3, the engineer shall submit an engineered as-built plan, including as-built elevations with a written certification that the system has been installed in accordance with the approved plan. And number 4, the property is connected to town sewer within 180 days of being so ordered.
All right, we still need a second on this motion. Can I get a second?
Ed Sheehan,
I'll
second.
Thank you, Ed. Before I call the vote, anybody from the public wish to comment on this application? Okay. When I call your name, please indicate how you vote. Dr. Noble Hanson,
Approve?
Ron Broman,
approve.
Ed Sheehan,
Approve.
and I vote to approve, John Beckley. So we have 4-0 vote to approve. So this variance request is approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a happy holiday.
Happy holidays.
Thanks.
You too. All right. Number 3. This is number 3 is a variance hearing and approval of IA technology for Roy B. Meservey, trustee of Marital Trust B, Lot M as in Mary 3, Crows Pond Road, and the applicant's representative is East Southeast LLC. Thad Eldridge, are you on the call?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Thad. Do you want to introduce it?
Sure, Thad Eldridge, East Southeast. Minglewood Homes is purchasing the property subject to permits in hand. It's a 48,000 square foot lot, which is rated for 4 bedrooms. And we're requesting a 5th bedroom with the installation of an innovative alternative septic system. The proposal will be to put the house outside the 100-foot buffer. And that's about it. If there are questions, I'm happy to answer them.
You know, Thad, I've driven by this spot 1,000 times and I never considered it to be a building lot. But after seeing how much square footage is involved here, I can see it. It really is overgrown tremendously.
It has been an overgrown mess.
Any questions from board members for Thad on this application? We do have a recommendation for approval from Judy in a memo dated 12/16, wherein she outlines 9 different conditions. Any questions on the application?
How many bedrooms was there?
Pardon me?
How many bedrooms? Was it 5? I'll just count them.
It would have 5. 4 by right and plus 1 for the IA. In some spot, I'll tell you that. If I don't have any questions or comments, can I get a motion to approve from a board member?
This is Noble. Motion to approve the variance for Lot 0, Crows Pond Road for the IA technology 5-bedroom dwelling. With Judy reading the conditions, please.
Okay.
So yes, this is the same 9 conditions as the first one. We're using the same IA technology. So the applicant should restrict the property to a maximum of 5 bedrooms and record this restriction on the deed at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Throughout its life, the system shall be under an operation and maintenance agreement. The O&M shall be for at least 1 year and may be with any mass certified operator of the appropriate grade that has received training by the company on the operation of the system. Effluent from the system shall be monitored at least twice per year for the first 2 years, preferably May and October. The effluent shall be field tested in accordance with Mass DEP standard conditions for secondary treatment units certified for general use, revised March 20th, 2015. In addition, a lab test of the effluent for total nitrogen is to meet the performance standard of 19 milligrams per liter shall be collected and analyzed by a certified lab. Water meter readings are to be provided with the semi-annual report. If any of the field tests or lab tests fail, follow-up tests shall be conducted by a certified lab and an evaluation made by the operator within 30 days. After the required 2 years testing, application can be made to the board or their agent for review and possible modification of the monitoring requirements. The applicant shall sign a covenant with the board agreeing to comply at such time as the town of Chatham, through its Board of Health and/or Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners, directs the connection of this property to the municipal sewer when it becomes available. This covenant shall be recorded at the Barnstable Registry of Deeds, and a copy shall be submitted to the Board of Health. The applicant agrees to apply a minimum of 6 inches of compacted topsoil to all landscaped areas and abide by any requirements of the Conservation Commission for mitigation and planting as required. The engineer shall submit an engineered as-built plan, including as-built elevations with a written certification that the system has been installed in accordance with the approved plan. No alteration to the floor plan of the dwelling or the engineered plan will be allowed without further review by the Board of Health or its agent. This variance granted pursuant to the State Environmental Code Title V and the Town of Chatham Subsurface Sewage Regulation is valid for 1 year from the date of the Board of Health approval. A permit must be issued and work commenced during that 1 year period, or the variance shall expire.
Thank you, Judy. Can I get a second on this application?
Second.
Okay, was that Ron or Ed?
Ron.
Ron, thank you, Ron. Okay, before I call the question, anybody from the public wish to comment? All right, when I call your name, please indicate how you vote on the motion. Dr. Hanson.
Approve.
Ron Broman.
Approve.
Ed Sheehan.
Approve, but I've got a question. Why didn't we receive a plan with these falls?
We did.
We didn't receive a plan.
You should have had a plan in your packet, Ed.
Well, I didn't get one then.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Down there and.
Yeah, that might have been a mistake. Just let us know if you don't have everything you need so we can make sure you have it next time.
Okay. I approve.
Okay, and I approve John Beckley. So we have 4 votes for approval, none against. So the motion to the application is approved. So you are good to go, Thad.
Thank you so much and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Same to you, Thad. Okay, let's have our update now from Dr. Robert Duncanson, Director of Health and Natural Resources for the town of Chatham. Dr. Bob?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So I'll just quickly run through the numbers. Actually, for Chatham specifically, the last couple of days have been relatively quiet, which is good.
Good.
But right now, worldwide, we are at 77 million, almost 200,000 cases, and almost 1,700,000 deaths on a worldwide basis. In the United States, we are currently over 17.9 million cases, and we are running 7 million cases ahead of the second country in the world, which is India. You may remember a couple of weeks ago, I indicated that the second country was kind of catching up on us. That is no longer the case. The U.S. right now is frankly pulling way ahead on a much more rapid basis than other countries are seeing in increases. In the U.S., we currently are at 318,602 deaths, which is 135,000 deaths ahead of the second country, which is Brazil. So there again, the number of deaths in the U.S. continues to outpace the rest of the world. In Massachusetts, as of yesterday afternoon, we were at 323,531 cases, and we had 11,717 deaths. In Barnstable County, as of yesterday afternoon, we had 4,519 confirmed cases, and that was up 64 from the day before. You may recall, like last summer, we were averaging, in the low single digits for cases, occasionally hitting 10 or 11. That was a high count. But this fall, we have been consistently in the upper double digits between 50 and 100 cases. And then in terms of deaths in Barnstable County, we are currently at 217, which was an increase of 2 from the day before. In Chatham alone, as of this afternoon, we were at 68 confirmed cases, and we had 3 deaths. The 2 that we talked about quite frequently since last summer. And then just recently, there was a death of a Chatham resident who had tested positive. We don't have any confirmation that the death was specific to COVID, but the individual had tested positive, and then subsequently we were made aware of information that the individual had died. So that gives us the 3. As I indicated, for a while, for about a week and a half or 2 weeks or so, we were seeing a fairly consistent increase in the number of cases here in Chatham. Right after Thanksgiving, as we're seeing across the state and across the country. That has luckily dropped off in the last couple of days. It was actually a relatively quiet weekend. We only had 1 case over the weekend, and so that's a good thing, because we were averaging almost a case a day, or even multiple cases in a day. So we have seen some improvement. Of course, everybody now is concerned about what's going to happen following the Christmas and New Year's time period, where we're fully expecting to see another increase. The only other thing I wanted to just update you on, there is a small cluster of cases at Liberty Commons. They indicated 2 additional cases today. They're about at 9 cases. Vary between 6 and 9. Some people recover, some people recover and get sent home. They did have 1 resident who was transported to Cape Cod Hospital. And then unfortunately, they did have 1 COVID positive resident who passed away. And that, I believe, is the first case that Liberty Commons had that resulted in a death. The individual did have other conditions present, which has been fairly common in those people that have passed away around the world. They generally have some underlying condition. But we haven't had any recent notifications of any restaurant workers testing positive other than the ones we had a couple of weeks ago. So it seems like right now we're hopefully in a little bit of a lull between the Thanksgiving and, Christmas, New Year's holiday period. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Bob, this is John. Can you advise the board members about the vaccine? When are the nursing homes are going to get their vaccinations, and when are the healthcare providers of Cape Cod healthcare system going to get their vaccines?
Yeah, as I'm sure everybody's aware, this past weekend, Moderna's vaccine received emergency use authorization, and the week before that, Pfizer received emergency use authorization for their vaccine. The Pfizer vaccine was distributed last week, and inoculations of healthcare workers started last week, including at Cape Cod Healthcare at Cape Cod Hospital. So that's a good thing. And then the Moderna vaccine, as I said, received approval this weekend, and those shipments are already en route to various locations. The initial doses of the Pfizer vaccine were sent to acute care hospitals to vaccinate frontline healthcare workers who were in direct exposure to COVID patients. Doctors, nurses, food service workers, environmental workers, all those people that were dealing directly with COVID-19 patients. The next group is the long-term care facilities. They are being provided vaccine through either Walgreens or CVS under federal contracts. As far as we know, Liberty Commons should be in a position to have vaccination start next week.
Okay.
They were originally told the 28th. As of today, they had not received any definitive information, but we're still going on the assumption that if it's not, first thing Monday morning next week, it will be Monday. It will be sometime next week. And that will be for both residents and workers at long-term care facilities.
Good.
And in the next group after that is supposed to be first responders, so police and fire and whatnot. There's been a few changes in the last couple of days in terms of the groupings, which group are in what phase. But those first three are the direct healthcare workers, the long-term care facilities, and then the first responders. And that should take us into mid-January, more than likely. And then, then we'll be entering the next group, which would be phase B. And that's going to be people over 65, folks with underlying conditions and that sort. That'll be, February, March timeframe. And then after that will be phase 3, which will be primarily the general public. So still a number of months to go, but that right now is the idea. That's what the state has laid out, and that's the way the vaccine's being shipped.
Bob, who's going to be administering the vaccine doses to the first responders?
More than likely, we're going to be working with the county, just like we do for flu clinics. And so the county is basically taking care of the mid and outer Cape, if you will, as a group, because they're looking for organizations or entities, if you will, that can administer at least 200 doses. And so obviously, individual towns wouldn't necessarily meet that threshold. And so it's much more efficient to do it at a regional level, here on the mid and outer Cape, where police and fire departments tend to be smaller. So right now, that's the way it's being set up. Some of the towns on the other end of the Cape that are larger will be doing it on their own, or maybe partnering with just a neighboring town. But that's the plan right now, is to use the VNA and the healthcare nurses from Barnstable County to deal with the first responders.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Additional questions or comments for Dr. Duncanson?
Yeah, this is Noble. Bob, at Liberty Commons, you said there's usually about 9 cases. How many total residents do they have about?
Oh, I couldn't tell you offhand, but it's
100?
It's over 100.
Okay.
Any other questions for Dr. Bob? If not, thank you for your report, as usual. Always
Okay.
interesting to get the latest. We have one more business item to take care of tonight, and that is approval of our December 7th meeting minutes. I went through them. I found one typo or correction on page 4. Second paragraph from the top, over on the right side. COVID casings, question mark. Both establishments have followed the Board of Health protocols to close for 24 hours and post the COVID casings and closures. COVID cases, maybe?
Yeah, yes, that should have said cases. I
Okay,
wrote these because this was the week Diane was out, so.
gotcha. Okay, yeah, just a very minor change, but I did see it. Any other edits or comments? Any Board of Health members think should be made? If not, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve, Ed Sheehan.
Thank you, Ed. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, when I call your name, please indicate how you vote on the acceptance of the minutes. Dr. Hanson,
Approve?
Ron Broman,
Approve.
Ed Sheehan,
Approve.
and I vote to approve. That's the end of our formal agenda. Does anybody else have any last-minute issues or concerns they want to raise before we adjourn?
Yeah, this is Noble. I just was wondering if there's any, quick follow-up on 3 sort of outstanding things. The Ben Franklin employee,
Yes.
employee, the Body Strong, and the Mill Hill Road property. Those
Yes, I do have updates. Body Strong, we did have a court hearing and with the clerk magistrate last week with town council, and the clerk magistrate asked if we would accept a reduced violation fine of $100, and we accepted it. So they put them on probation for 6 months, and they have to pay the $100 fine. So that is all set, assuming they don't do any more violations in the next 6 months. Ben Franklin, I wrote them 2 tickets, and he has requested a hearing at the court on paying the tickets. He doesn't want to pay them. However, we have heard that he is wearing his mask now, so that's a good thing. So hopefully he'll continue wearing his mask when he has customers in the store. And I don't really have an update on Mill Hill. We're still discussing it at the staff level as to how to proceed with town council. We seem
So
to kind of go around on that one.
What's the total penalties that have been assessed at Ben Franklin in those two citations?
$300, 100 on the first, 200 on the second. We did discuss it with town council, and he recommended I write the third. However, since then, I've been told that he is wearing his mask, so I don't feel I should go in and write him another ticket. So,
Right.
Because I haven't seen that he's not wearing it, and he seems to be. So,
Are we going to spot check that?
we did, yeah, we did. But we'll have to keep an eye on it. Yes.
And is Body Strong under? Are all the gyms closed in the state right now?
Nope. The gyms are open. They're in I think it's a 40% capacity.
Okay.
And the machinery has to be 14 feet apart, and the people exercising have to wear masks.
Okay.
So as long as I don't get any complaints and he's complying to what he's supposed to be doing, then he should be all set. And they were doing a good job on all of that stuff to begin with. So.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah. Understood.
Yeah, there's Noble. Yeah, I think I could be wrong, but I think I saw on the selectmen's agenda that the Mill Hill property is asking for a license to be a junk dealer.
That's a different property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a different property further down the road.
All right. So otherwise, has anything happened there?
At Mill Hill or at,
Bill Hill, yeah, the original,
no, I mean, he hasn't cleaned up. I don't know if Bob's still on the call. At our last meeting, we kind of went around as to how we were going to proceed with this, and I think we were still unclear as the best course. I think we were waiting for our lawyer to guide us and looking into ways that we could
right, so it's in
clean it up
progress.
or get the money to clean it up. I don't know.
Yeah, let me ask you, so the property down the road that's asking to be a junk dealer, is that the one that's, you go by the office of Nickerson and then it's on the left there?
Yes, yes.
So that, right,
They have
okay,
a dumpster and they do routinely fill that with metal and then take it, they sell it, I believe. I'm not sure what the status of, it's a tough area. I don't believe a junk dealer is gonna be allowed by zoning in that area, so.
but that's up to the selectmen, I guess.
That's up to, right, and zoning, so there'll be further discussions on that.
All right.
Judy?
Great, thanks. Thank you.
Judy, this is John. I remember when we were talking about Mill Hill, originally, there was a time frame there that 21 days had to pass by before we would be clear to take a next step. Are we clear of that initial 21 days?
Yes, we are. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to discuss it because I did take some notes, but I remember feeling that we didn't really get a clear idea of how we were going to proceed from our last meeting with town council, which was last week.
Okay.
So I can give you an update on that at our next meeting if you like.
I think that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And hopefully by then
Judy?
I'll know more as well.
Judy, I have one question, Ron Bowman. How are we doing on people signing up, hooking up on the sewerage? We haven't seemed to discuss that in quite a while, so I was just wondering.
We sent out a second round of reminder letters, and that has created quite a flurry of activity. People are contacting us and contacting engineers. So we're moving forward. We're also continuing to work with our IT consultant on trying to get the reminders and the order letters to be more automatic. And then, so once we get that to a point with all the outstanding ones, then we know we can more easily track new ones, we will do that. Because we do have a group, I think, that we're ready to start ordering. So.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But we are
I would
making
assume
pretty
that's
good progress. I mean, we only sent out 87 letters. I think someone needs to mute their phone.
That's my phone, Judy, and it's a problem I'm having intermittently. So
Okay.
let's maybe we can adjourn our meeting and finish. Can I get a motion?
Yep.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Ed Sheehan.
Okay, when I call your name, please indicate how you vote on the motion to adjourn. Dr. Hanson,
Approve adjournment?
Ron Broman,
Approve.
Ed Sheehan,
Approve.
and I vote to approve. So I'm sorry about that. My phone has got a static problem that occurs very now and then, and it just happened, and I don't know what to do about it, actually. But at least yeah, I've read that it could either be a software glitch or a damaged speaker, but you got me. In any event, thank you everyone for participating on the meeting tonight, and have a happy Christmas, happy holiday break.
Same to you.
See everybody in January.